Gandhi once said, the essence of all the religions is one, only their approaches are different. Now, here Gandhi is likely getting his inspiration from the Rig Veda, which is one of the four ancient Indian Vedas. So the line from the Rig Veda says that truth is one, but sages call it by various names. So this is wisdom from over almost 3,000 years ago. Truth is one, but sages call it by various names. Now, the Chinese language has a word for the essence, for the truth. And of course, that word is this character here, Tao. Now, there are countless English language books talking of the Tao. So the Tao is something that even if you're not that familiar with Chinese philosophy, it's probably something that you've heard of. Now, there are countless English books talking of the Tao. So here's one, the Tao of Bill Murray. Okay, here's another one, the Tao of Twitter. The Tao of Willie. This is Willie Nelson's autobiography. The Tao of Elvis. Okay, the Tao is great. The king is great too. The Tao of Warren Buffett. The sequel, the Tao of Charlie Munger. And even there's lots, the Tao of Meow, the understanding and training your cat the Taoist way. So there are countless books that talk about the Tao. But the book that precedes these books by a couple thousand years is the Tao Te Ching. Okay, and here we have, so we can see this is a bamboo scroll. Okay, so the earliest known copy of this book, the Tao Te Ching, is dating from 300 BCE. And it was written on these bamboo scrolls like this, just like in the picture. We call it a book, but it is actually quite short. Okay, it's only 5,000 characters, and it's divided into 81 chapters. So we can see here these bamboo slips. So one or two of these bamboo slips is equivalent to about one chapter. So it's actually not too long. And as my wife mentioned, I have a kind of a hobby, and that is rote memorizing this kind of like Chinese ancient Chinese scripture. I know it's kind of a weird hobby, but it's something I like to do. I've practiced this for a while, and I'm able to from memory, I'm able to like write out the Chinese. It sounds strange, but actually this is something that even children can do in China, especially in the ancient times. In the ancient times, the children and the students would memorize the scripture, and that's kind of where we got the idea of Confucian learning from, right? Just rote memorization. Yeah. But actually,
also can develop the children's brain.
It's actually quite a very, very good skill. It can develop the brain. Well, maybe not mine, but I mean for children. Okay, okay. Now, so Lao. Okay, so the next. Okay, so in the book before wasn't called the Tao Te Ching. At first, the first name they gave it was just Lao Tzu, so the name of the philosopher Lao Tzu. And later on in the Han Dynasty, it got the name the Tao Te Ching. Now, Lao Tzu, okay, is a very mysterious figure. So not much is known of Lao Tzu. Some say he was the grand librarian at the Royal Library of Chang'an. Now, Chang'an was like the capital of the Zhou dynasty. It's present day Xi'an, okay? It's where the terracotta soldiers are. So he was alive in the spring autumn period of Chinese history. Now, after the spring autumn period of Chinese history comes the Warring States. The Warring States. So we can just by the name we can catch what it's about. the warring states. So China slipped into turmoil. So when China declined into the warring states, he set forth on an ox west to the Silk Road to share his teachings and spread enlightenment. And as he was passing through a border fortification called the Hangu Guan, okay, there was the guardsmen there asked him to write down his teachings, and thus we have the origin of the Tao Te Ching. Okay, and so the Tao Te Ching is a guide to cultivating a life of peace, serenity, and compassion by aligning oneself in harmony with Tao. So Tao is the essence, the truth. So we have to align what created us and what nurtures us. So we have to align ourselves in harmony with that. And the word Tao, okay, actually existed for hundreds of years before Lao Tzu. The character. And we can see here we have the oracle bone script. So what is an oracle bone? So just like it would have been, so it was used for divination. And the earlier so a lot of the earlier writing was used for divination or for fortune telling. And so this is and it was written on like turtle shells and things like that. And this is a depiction of the first character. So here we can see what looks like an intersection. And we can see in the middle of this intersection, we have a person. Okay, so the Chinese character for person is just like that, ren. Okay, so just as a person, from this we get a path or a way or a path for people to walk along. So a literal way, a literal path. And then, okay, but not too long after that, the character started to evolve and get other meanings. So you can see, so here we have another two forms of the character. So the Zhongding script is just used a script. So oracle bone scripts were written on turtle shells and things like that. So the Zhongding script was characters that were mostly written on bronze things. So here we can see that the character has evolved a little bit. So we can see that no longer is there a person in the mid intersection. We have a figure of, it looks like a head, right? And you can see there's like an eye here, and then there's like a head or headdress, okay, face, okay, a head. And from this, we can see how the word evolved from meaning just a literal way to a figurative way, a figurative path, So we need to use our heads for thinking. So we can kind of see how it's evolving here. And now, just as in English, just as head is in English is also a verb, so too is it here. So it can also mean to lead or give direction. And later on, another evolution of the character shows that. So here we have this is the same character, but it's got a hand at the bottom, which just means to grasping the way, the path to lead forth. Okay, and originally this middle character, this character also had that meaning, but later on it was just made more clear. So another character evolves from that. Now, okay, so that's just a look at the evolution of the character Tao. Okay, and we can. Okay, so what is Tao? The question. So what is Tao? And this is a quote attributed to Lao Tzu. Okay, so let's see. The great Tao has no bodily form, but it produced and nourishes heaven and earth. The great Tao has no passions, but it causes the sun and moon to revolve as they do. The great Tao has no name, but it affects the growth and maintenance of all things. I do not know its name, but I make an effort and call it the Tao. Okay, so this is a quote from, not from the Tao Te Ching, but from the Tranquility Sutra, which was a sutra written in the Tang Dynasty. So that would have been a few thousand maybe 1,000 years after Lao Tzu, okay, or 1,000 or so years after Lao Tzu. But this quote perfectly, I think, encapsulates the philosophy of Lao Tzu, okay, and answers the question kind of really, what is Tao? And why we can't really give a definite definition of that. And so here heaven and earth meant the universe in ancient times. So Tian Di, I mean that meant the universe, okay, and the movement of the sun and earth. We can kind of think of that kind of in the modern sense, that would be like the laws of physics, nature. Okay, now the concept of Tao is very hard to define, and because it is in fact undefinable. Okay, so we can't define it because it's undefinable. Now the first line of is the most famous line of the Tao Te Ching, but it's also the most abstruse. It's one of the most difficult ones to grasp. So here we can see it in Chinese. So this is the character for the first one, Dao, Dao. So the Dao that can Dao, not the infinite. Okay, I use the character for the infinite Dao. Okay, so it's quite confusing, right? It's very, so when you read that, so the Dao that can Dao, not the, so okay, so not the infinite or the eternal Tao. It's quite confusing, but so it means, so the most of the translations say the Tao that cannot be spoken is not the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. So the Tao, the essence has no limit. If we could define it, it would be limited. So if we could categorize it, it would be limited. If we could explain it fully, it would be limited. Okay, so I think that's the point that this is trying to put across. But again, this is very difficult to explain, this one. So this is the very enigmatic kind of line. Okay, now the second line of the Tao Te Ching is very similar in structure to the first one. We can see the structure is the same. So we still have the difference is we don't have the character for Tao. We have the character for Ming, which is the character for name. So the name that can be named is not the internal name. Okay, the name that can be named is, so the name that we give to this essence, this truth, is not the name that will always. It's not it's not the exact name. It's not a definitive name, because the names can change. And what I mean by that is, so what's in a name? Okay, this is a line from Romeo and Juliet. So a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. Okay, so names are just names. Okay, another example of what I mean is that okay, so what do we call this here in this class? So water in English, but in other languages they have other names. Okay, Chinese is called shui. Okay, I'm sure in the Thai language it has another name, and in all different. So H2O, right? Okay, but the name may be different, but the intrinsic value remains the same. So people often tend to cling to the names, but the names are not the same thing as the actual. The names are just labels of convenience. Okay, the actual thing has its own intrinsic value. Now, just as we all know the taste of water, we all know Tao. We may not know it by the same name, but we know it because we've experienced it. We experience it in life. It's something that is as common to us as water, but maybe we just have different names and different ways of expressing it. Okay, so Tao is the mother of the world. Has a lot of names. Okay, so some people say God, the mother of the world, the Holy Father, the Supreme Being, the Light. These names refer to the one essence, the one truth. Okay, now Tao is also within us. Okay, so it is our soul, Buddha nature, Atman, the valley spirit, the conscience. So we're all born with this, and it is neither acquired nor lost. It's always within us. Now, okay, so what do I mean by that? So let's see here. So here in this picture, you see a child, okay, playing and about to fall into a well. Okay, so what will you do when you see this situation? Or what would you do if you saw this situation?
So does anybody want to share?
Okay, so what do you think? What would you do?
Save the child.
Okay, save the child. I think that's the answer for everybody. Okay, and I've asked this question to a lot of different people from different backgrounds, different countries, and it's the same. They would save the child. So, okay, why do we all save the child from falling into the well or from this dangerous situation? Okay, so we don't do it for any kind of it's just we don't really. Why do we do it? It's just a reaction, right? We don't really think about it. We don't think, oh, I need to save it. It's just something we do. We don't think about, oh, what will happen what will happen to us? Will we get some reward, or will we get some kind of benefit from this? We just do it because it's part of our nature. It's part of our going back to our soul, Buddha nature, Atman, valley spirit, our conscience. It's just something what we're born with. Now, this example, this story is actually, and the reason I use this story is it's actually very ancient. It's actually was first asked. This question was first asked by the philosopher Mencius. Now, Mencius was a Confucian saint. Now, okay, so Mencius is a Confucius saint, and Mencius says that by nature we all have the capacity for compassion and mercy, but it must be cultivated. So this capacity for Mencius would say that where does this compassion come from? Well, it's because it's a sprout within us, a concern for the well-being of others. Whenever we see suffering, we have a feeling, it's an unhappy, unpleasant feeling, right? Of other, so a concern for the well-being of others. So, and if we cultivate this sprout within us, then it flourishes into compassion and flourishes into mercy. And in Chinese, that would be this character here, Ren. And so this is also a very this is a crucial or fundamental concept in Confucian philosophy, but also in Chinese philosophy. Now, Mencius also identified 3 other sprouts that, when cultivated, would result in the virtues of righteousness, propriety, and wisdom. So righteousness. So these English words, in English, these words are quite a little bit difficult to maybe grasp, but in Chinese they're very fundamental concepts. So righteousness in Chinese it's the Chinese character for yi, and the propriety is li, and wisdom is zhi. Now these are, so what does it mean? What does it mean by righteousness? Well, we have a sense of when we do something wrong, we often have a guilty conscience, right? People will say that, oh, okay, and if where does that guilty conscience come from? Okay, from our soul, from our true nature. And also in terms of righteousness, fairness, and justice, we also have an innate sense of fairness as well. So like we have an innate sense of fairness. So if we have like even children we can know what is fair and what is not fair. So for example, if you have 2 kids and we give 2 candy to one kid and we don't give it to the other kid, well, the other kid will say, who didn't get the candy, will say that's not fair if all conditions are equal, right? And so it's an innate characteristic within us. Now, And also propriety is a very, it's a hard word to translate. This character Li is a hard word to translate into English, okay? But because it also means like ritual and courteousness and respect, so propriety. And according to Mencius, well, we also have a sense of order. So the older generation and the younger generation, we see that naturally. So there's a kind of so there's a kind of from that we get this etiquette. Okay, so from that, so just because the seniors and the juniors, okay, the elder generation, the younger generation. So from that, it evolves into in the idea of an etiquette, and these ideas evolve. And then we also have a sense of wisdom, so we can see what is and what is not as well. Now, so those are the sprouts within it. That's the capacity within us. So, but we have to cultivate that. We have to water that. So not all plants, not all sprouts survive, right? And not all of them flourish into plants. Okay. Now, Mencius, so this is just a picture of, so my wife and I, we actually went to the Mencius temple in Shandong. So I encourage anyone, if you're interested, if you want to have a very good understanding of Confucianism, the book of Mencius and the philosophy of Mencius is very, very important to understand. And there's so much information online as well. You can look up and read more on this this wonderful philosopher. He's actually known as the second saint. So this means the second saint. The first saint is Confucius. The second one is Mencius. Now, what about this word religion? Okay, so we talked about the essence of all religions is one. So what about this word religion? So in the Bible, the Quran, or the other Holy Scripture, can you find the word religion? So can you find this word within these scriptures? And the answer is actually no. The concept of religion was formed in the 16th and the 17th century in Europe. So well after these were written. And religion itself is the word itself, the idea itself is very hard to define as well. There's not really a consensus in the academic world of what is religion. People debate that all the time. So in the 18th and in the 19th centuries, the terms Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Confucianism, and the world religions first entered the English language. This meant that no one self-identified as being part of a certain religion prior to the 18th century, as they do now. Now, people just had beliefs and traditions that they embraced as part of the culture that they followed. So, okay, they belong to. Now, especially difficult to when we say like, what is a Taoist or what is a Hindu? That's quite difficult to give a clear definition, because there's so much variation. It's just a kind of catch-all phrase, but there's so much variation in so many different beliefs and ideas. It doesn't really work. It doesn't really. It doesn't do a good job of. It's kind of in a way like stereotyping a bit. Now, so here's an example. Okay, I want to further on that point. So what does an elephant look like? So if we try to use language to describe what does an elephant look like? Is that easy or hard to do? To use language to describe an elephant? So you might say, oh, it's got a long trunk, but then people will be like, what's a trunk? Okay, it's got a long. Okay, it's big. Okay, but how big is it? So is it as big as this or as big as that? Okay, so it's very difficult to do that. Okay, and so the language is limited. Now, there's actually a story. Okay, this is a very famous Chinese proverb I want to share. Okay, it's about an elephant. So um, it's actually an ancient Chinese proverb, but it's also an Indian proverb as well. It's a proverb that came from India in ancient times, and then also um, ingrained itself into Chinese culture. So here we have an elephant in the middle, and then we have these men, and these are supposed to be blind men. Okay, so the king or the lord at that time asked these blind men to come and okay, so he brought first of all, I forgot to say, he brought an elephant into his royal courtyard, and he asked these blind men to come in and then trying to find out to give their definition of what this, or trying to explain what it is, so they all touch the elephant, different parts of the elephant, and they all give different interpretations. So the one who touched the tail said, oh, this is like a rope or something, and then, oh, this is the one who touches the body, okay, this is like a table or a wall, or these tusks are like carrots or spears. I've seen that before too. So they're so difficult to do that. Now so the thing is, what exactly is the true answer? So who is right, who is wrong? Well, actually, in fact, none of them are wrong, and none of them are entirely right either. It's just that their interpretations of what it is, what it is, are what they are, because they have a limited way to grasp it. Okay, and so of course this elephant in the middle here is it represents Tao, the essence, the truth. So that's just going back to the original points. Okay, so the truth is one, but there are many ways to name it, to understand it. Now, here is a painting from the Ming Dynasty, so showing the founders of the three major Chinese religions. So do you know who they are in this picture? So so we have three historical teachers, enlightened teachers, and okay. So first of all, over here we have Confucius. Okay, so this would be Confucius. This teacher would be Lao Tzu, Tao Te, and this one in the middle. Oh, this is the Buddha, but it doesn't look like what we would think the Buddha looks like. And I think it looks a little bit like Bodhidharma, and I'll talk more about Bodhidharma a little bit later. Okay, so, but those are the three major Chinese religions, so, or beliefs. Okay, beliefs: Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. Okay, so if Jesus, Buddha, and Krishna met up together, what would happen? Okay, so if it did happen, okay, they would get along, of course, because they all follow the same thing. They all follow the essence, the truth, the Tao. Okay, that's what that's what they were following, but that doesn't mean that their followers followed that the same way. And so we can see that and they all had the same. They all wanted to help people, to save people, to enlighten people. So it's just so we can, going back to the elephant, we can see that there's just different ways, different methods, but in the essence is the same. Now, so here we have a tree. So what is the root of this tree? So this tree has different branches. So the branches of Confucius, Lao Tzu, Buddha, Muhammad, okay, Jesus. Okay, so it has different branches, but what is the root of this tree? Okay, so the essence is Tao. Now, okay, remember, we all have different starting points, but ultimately all roads lead, or well, I wrote led to Rome, but lead because well, this is in the ancient times, right? But All roads lead to Rome. Now, okay, so we all have different starting points. So we come from different backgrounds, different cultures, but we all have to go to the same place. We all have to make our way back to the origin, okay, to where we come from. Now, all roads, okay, so in all roads lead to Rome, but in Chinese culture, okay, all roads lead to this place, the Nantianmen, which is the gateway to heaven. Now, I just want to share this this story. So this is a story. My wife and I actually, we went to Shandong. Okay, I think it was like maybe
2014.
2004. Okay, so 7-8 years ago, and okay, so at that time, I because I'm interested in Confucian culture, so I thought, okay, well, we got to go to the birthplace of Confucius. Confucian culture, that's in Shandong, it's a place called Fu. Okay, and now in the Confucianism, there's in the literature, they mention a place called the Tai Mountain. Okay, Mount Tai, and Mount Tai is the place where the emperor, the ancient emperors would go there and they would pray to heaven, and Confucius actually visited this mountain and it got inspiration from his visit there. So I thought, okay, let's go there and see. So we decided to go. So we decided to go there, but we planned it in a very haphazard way. Okay, so we arrived in the city, the city at the bottom of this mountain late at night. Okay, so around 8 or 9 p.m. And that day we actually had gone to the Confucius temple, so in another city, so about 2 hours away. So we arrived there late at night, and okay, so our destination would be up here at the top, okay, but we arrived we booked a hotel way down here at the bottom here. Now, what's famous about this place? Sorry, there's the arrowhead. Okay, what's famous about this place? Okay, it's culturally famous, but for some people, like my wife, it's also famous for the sunrise. Okay, so people want to go there to see the sunrise. So in order to see the sunrise, you have to go there. Okay, very early. Okay, of course, but we have to leave very early. So you have to take a bus from here at about 2 a.m. in the morning. So we arrived here. So I said we arrived in the city at 9 p.m. So we didn't have much time. So we went to the hotel, and then we fell asleep, and we got up at 2 a.m. 2:30. Oh, 2 okay, 2 a.m. Well, 2:30 a.m. So so we rushed out to catch the bus, but the bus had already left. Okay, so the bus headed off to this point here. Okay, so the bus would go around this way here, headed off to this point here. Now, so we were over here, and okay, we were looking around. Oh, okay, we were dejected. Okay, what are we gonna do? And then there was a lady there, and she said, "Oh, okay. Oh, what do you want to go to climb to go see the sunrise? Okay, I have another option for you. Okay, I'll call my brother-in-law, and he'll come in his car and he'll drive you to this point here. Okay, and from this point here. So and of course at this time I had no idea of the distance. Okay, so I thought, okay, it's not that far. So he drove. So this gentleman drove us to this point here. I had no idea that this would be like this distance, but okay. So we started off, okay, and we started off at 2 a.m. and we hiked up all the way to the top, and so it was getting, so after I think 4 hours, okay, we got up to the top. So the sunrise was coming up, and the gate was in sight. So Nantianmen. So the destination. So the gate was there. So Nantianmen. So okay, but it was in sight. But this was actually, I think, the hardest part of the entire hike was this last part here, because as we were going up to the top here, as the elevation was increasing, was getting colder and colder. And you can see that we actually did make it, but you can see from this picture, my wife was very happy, but I was frozen. Okay. But happy inside, but frozen on the outside. Okay. And okay, so that's just our an experience, but I just wanted to share this because it's just to show, just to experience. So this path of cultivation to me, this is a metaphor for the path of cultivation. So there's so many obstacles. We have the goal. So sometimes it's easy to say, okay, we have this goal, we have to make it to this place, but okay, but not as easy as in practice. Okay, and there's lots of things that happen. We get we obstacles that we have to overcome. Now, so when we got there, one thing that I was really looking forward to was just the world's only mountaintop Confucian temple. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more about Confucianism. Okay, so we went inside. So here we have this. So you can see the in the middle here we have Confucius. So usually in the temples they have in the middle is Confucius, and then on the right we have the Yan Hui, his most beloved disciple, and then on this side we have Zheng Zi, which he is the also an enlightened teacher. He's the one that continued the philosophy, the heritage of Confucianism, Zheng Zi. Okay, so he also wrote a very famous book called The Great Learning and the Filial Piety Sutra. And then on the right over here, there's another statue. This would be a statue of Zisi, which is the Confucius' grandson, and he continued the heritage from Zheng Zi. So the heritage was passed on from him. And then over here we'd have the statue of Mencius. So I mentioned Mencius earlier. Okay, so there you can see Zisi and over there. Okay, so Confucianism is. So Confucius lived at a time, at the same time as Lao Tzu pretty much. And so China was slipping into chaos, the warring states, due to the greed of many feudal lords and their followers. So, yeah, so it was a feudal era, but I'm okay. So nowadays it's a little bit difficult to understand, but at that time. But the greed of people has always existed. So these feudal lords, okay, maybe they were in charge of a small area and they wanted to be in charge of a large area. Maybe they're in charge of a larger area and they wanted to be in charge of a much larger area. So that was I think the same thing still happens today, but just in different forms. Okay, and so, but his teachings address to this. Okay, the greed, the selfishness of man. Okay, and that's why they're so relevant today, even though the situation of today could be quite different. It is incredibly different. So he aspired to create a world of harmony. So the world of harmony where the young and old were taken care of, and every able person could contribute. So this is the ideal world of Da Tong, the world of it's a utopia, and it's very ahead of its time. And Confucius was also ahead of his time in another way, in that for him, education was not something limited to just the elites of the society. Education was for everyone, and that's one of the reasons why he is held in such high esteem today for this promotion or this belief in universal education. Okay, and we can see that he had many disciples. So Mencius, Zhengzi, Xunzi. Okay, so down at the bottom here. Okay, and even today. Okay, so he didn't succeed in he didn't succeed at stopping this chaos. So this crisis that was occurring, because China did end up in the warring states. But his life and teachings immensely inspired and influenced his disciples and future generations. So if you ask about the spring autumn period, you probably don't, or the warring states, not many of the historical figures are known, right? Especially outside of China, but Confucius is known everywhere. Okay, and so a little bit more about Confucius. So here we have these are Jesuit missionaries. So the Jesuit missionaries entered into China in about the 1400s, 1500s, and you can see by they don't you can see by their dress, by what the robes they're wearing. They integrated very well. It's very much so into the Chinese culture at the time. And one thing that they found they took great interest in was the Analects of Confucius and other Confucian literature. They actually translated they translated the Analects and these four books, the Analects, the Great Learning, the Doctrine of the Mean, the Book of Mencius. They translated these books into Latin. And at that time, I think it was around the time of I'm not sure if the printing press came around yet, but at that time, books were a major, to have a book published was a major thing. And we can see that this is the seal of the French king at that time. I think it was actually Louis XIV, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, the Sun King. So in order to have a book published, you needed that. Okay, you needed the approval of the king. And we can see that this is in the foreword of the book. Okay, so one might say that the moral system of this philosopher is infinitely sublime, but that it is at the same time simple, sensible, and drawn from the purest source of natural reason. So never has reason deprived of divine revelation appeared so well developed, nor with so much power. So we can see from this that there is so much appreciation from at that time. And the reason that they're from these Jesuit missionaries, not just from Jesuit missionaries, so I should also mention first, from Enlightenment thinkers as well. So this is Voltaire. So remember, this book would have been, so when this book was brought to Europe, it was read by many of the academics at that time, the thinkers of that time. So one not need be obsessed with the merits of the Chinese to recognize that their empire is in truth the best the world has ever seen. That's what Voltaire said after he read this book, the Analects. And what I want to say is that there is this appreciation that crosses cultures because Confucius is actually talking about the Tao. Confucius, his philosophy is inspired by the Tao. His philosophy is about cultivating Tao as well in a sense. So, and great minds think alike. Okay, so this is another point I want to mention about Confucius's philosophies, his ideas. Okay, George Washington. Okay, so the first president of the U.S. What was his political party? Okay, so he was actually neither a Democrat or Republican. Or at that time, there were no political parties. So as George Washington left office, he declared the worst enemy of government loyalty to party over nation. Now, 2,500 years earlier, Confucius actually remarked, "The superior man is dignified, but does not wrangle. He is sociable, but not a partisan." Okay, very similar idea, pretty much essentially the same idea, but from two different people, from two different cultures, from two different backgrounds, different languages, different times, different eras, okay? But we can see that wisdom is eternal. So wisdom is eternal. So wisdom is true now, it was true before, and in the future, it will still be true. So wisdom that derives from the essence of Tao is always wisdom, okay? So Confucius does talk about the Tao in the Analects. He says, having heard the way, the Tao in the morning, one may die content in the evening. This is a very famous line, and it's very difficult for people to understand what does he mean, having heard the way in the morning, one may die content in the evening. Okay, so it's very difficult for people to understand this. It's very difficult to translate this, but if you follow the Tao, then you can grasp what this, you can kind of get a sense of what this means. Okay. Now, Confucius also said, the way I follow is strung together by oneness. Okay. This is also a very famous line in the Analects of Confucius. Some say it's one of the some say it's even one of the most important ones. And this line, Confucius actually, there's a story. So Confucius actually was giving a lecture in front of his students, and he gave this lecture. He said this line, and then everybody was so. Almost all of his students were scratching their heads. What does this mean? What does this mean? And then one of his disciples, Zhengzi, who, if you remember, is the one who I mentioned just mentioned, is the one who continued the lineage, the heritage of Confucianism. He's the one who said, "Oh, I know what it means," but I got it, and we can see from that that there's that also maybe an esoteric teaching is being passed along here, but from Confucius to Zhengzi, but my point is from here is that the Tao, the way is also not just, it's not just Taoism, it's all Chinese philosophy. It's all but it's also all philosophy as well, but it's just expressed in different words. Okay, and I'll come back to that later. So here we have a picture of so this is Lao Tzu, not Confucius, not another. So how do we know it's Lao Tzu? There's one thing. Okay, that if you see paintings of historical Chinese figures, when you see the ox, then you know that's Lao Tzu. Okay, so as I mentioned before, so he's riding the ox to the Hangu Guan, to the Silk Road. Okay, and to spread his teachings to the West. Now, this is actually a mural in Vancouver, okay, in Vancouver, Canada, and looks like this, okay. And I really like this line here from the Tao Te Ching, okay. So let me make it bigger. Okay, so understanding. Sorry, let me read it. Okay, it takes knowledge to understand others, but it needs a clear mind to know oneself. It takes strength to surpass others, but it requires a strong will to surpass oneself. So if we think about, first let's talk about this part here. So if we think about strength is temporal, it's temporary. So strength goes away. So just like so one of the core concepts of Taoism, Lao Tzu, is that everything is cyclical. There's a cycle, a circle, and it's the same thing with strength. So strength peaks and then declines. Okay, so if you think about all the great athletes, they all have to follow this, right? So Michael Jordan, okay, they all peak, their physical strength peaks, but their and then declines. But the thing is, what about a strong will, willpower, a strong will to surpass oneself? To surpass oneself, that doesn't follow this pattern. A will is something that it's constant. Okay, and so now it takes knowledge to understand others, but it needs a clear mind to know oneself. So a clear mind to knowledge and wisdom. So knowledge is also temporary. Okay, so just like think about technology. So technology is always changing. So our knowledge about technology so we know, okay, so if you knew a lot about computers 20, 30 years ago, that doesn't mean you know much about computers nowadays. Okay, so knowledge just changes and it changes very fast. Okay, so what they teach in universities, what they teach in universities and colleges, it changes. But wisdom is always constant. Okay, so these ideas are always constant. They are not temporal, so they're not they're relevant to and they're not exclusive to just one people. They're relevant to all of us. Okay, so I just wanted to there's a story about this mural. So actually maybe about 10 years ago, actually, this happened. So this beautiful saying, beautiful mural was defaced with graffiti. And why was it defaced with graffiti? It's because sometimes people just see the superficial aspects of things. So they see, oh, it's Chinese. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, it's doesn't have anything to. Okay, I don't like that. It's racist in a sense. Now, actually, Lao Tzu actually addresses that in the Tao Te Ching. Certain this kind of negative aspect of. So he says that higher people hear of the Tao, they diligently practice it. Average people hear of the Tao, they sometimes keep it and they sometimes lose it. Lower people hear of the Tao, they laugh loudly at it. So if they do not laugh, it would not be the Tao. Okay, so that would be his response to what happened, I think. And okay, so fortunately, Canada and Canadians are very nice. So they got so people saw the graffiti, and they rallied together and they donated money and they had the graffiti removed. So okay, so that's the philosophy of Lao Tzu. So it's very easy to see the connection between Lao Tzu and the Tao. Okay, especially because the Tao Te Ching, Tao, it's in the name. But what about the Buddha and the Tao? So does the Buddha talk about Tao? Well, if you translate Buddhist scripture into Buddhist scripture into Chinese, then it becomes more clear. Okay, especially if you look at. Okay, so first of all, before I get into that, I just want to talk about so here we have Bodhidharma. I mentioned him before. Okay, so Bodhidharma, and then he actually brought the Zen Buddhism, the Zen lineage Buddhism from India to China, and this is his he's an enlightened teacher, and this is also his so the first one of his top disciple, okay, and the next one in the lineage, Hui Ke, okay, he's also an enlightened teacher, and in China this lineage starts with Bodhidharma, Hui Ke is number 2, and then there's actually the most famous in this lineage is the 6th patriarch. The 6th patriarch his name is Huinan, and if you're interested, you can look up him as well. He's also an enlightened teacher, and Huinan, okay. And the reason I bring this up is that they link their philosophy is very. There's a lot of similar points to the philosophy of Lao Tzu as well, and I don't think it's a coincidence. Okay, and so in Buddhism, there's many different variants. There's Mahayana. There's I think in Thailand is Theravada Buddhism, I think. There's Tibetan Buddhism, there's Zen Buddhism. There's so many different variants, but they all have the same: the 4 noble truths. And what about the 4 noble truths? So if we translate that, when that was translated into Chinese, so how was it translated? So the first one is, okay, so all human lives involve suffering, and all things that make us happy will eventually end. The root of suffering is craving, aversion, ignorance, our own mental states. We can escape suffering if we remove its cause, and we can only remove its cause by following the way. So we can see that the Four Noble Truths, here we have, in the Four Noble Truths, we have the Tao as well. Okay, and okay, so maybe later on someone who's more familiar with Buddhism can elaborate on this as well. Okay, the connection between Buddhism and Tao. But from what I understand, the Buddhism, the use of Tao in this context refers to the literal the literal way of Buddhism, the return of the universal source, the Dharma, proper meditation, and nirvana, among other associations. So Tao is commonly used in this fashion by Chinese Buddhists, specifically those Zen Buddhists, and it has heavy with associations and nuanced meanings. So that's Buddhism. So we can kind of see that. But what about in Christianity? So is there a link between Christianity and Tao? So there definitely is. And it becomes even more apparent when we look at the Bible as it was written in Chinese or translated into Chinese. And so here's a question. So do you know what the first Christians called themselves? So what do they call themselves? They actually call themselves the followers of the way. The followers of the way. And you can Google this. You can see. You can take a look. This is fact. They called themselves the followers of the way. They didn't call themselves Christians because that didn't come till much later. So these would be the first disciples of Jesus Christ. So they called themselves the followers of the way, and that title came from I'm the way to the tree of life. And I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So the way in English, let's go. So the way, in English, also can be Tao, right? And in Greek, so the Bible was written in Greek. The word would be odos. So odos is a root word for some English words like odometer. So odos kind of means that literal path. And so when the first time I heard about this, I actually thought, oh, that's quite amazing. So I'd never heard of this before. So I took a look into it, and I thought to myself, so Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, the life. But he probably didn't say that. He didn't say that in Greek. So there would have been two other possibilities. One would have been Aramaic, and the other would have been Hebrew. So I couldn't find the Aramaic translation. So I thought, So I looked up the Hebrew word for this. And the Hebrew word, this astonished me because the Hebrew word is actually Derek, which is my name. So I thought, oh, that's quite a coincidence. But I always thought because I thought, my name. I thought, well, I was actually named after a soccer player from Derek Johnston. You probably never heard of. He played for the Glasgow Rangers. So I thought, I didn't really like my name. Then I thought, wow, well, that's quite a word. Is it? Well, this is quite a coincidence, but maybe not a coincidence. I'm not sure. So in the beginning, now that's odos is one translation. So another translation, in the beginning. So Tao was translated as so odos was translated as Tao, but there's another Greek word from the Bible that was translated into Tao. So this is okay. Let's read it. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the word means logos, and now logos was also translated so it's translated into Tao as well. So we can kind of see the connection there. So logos also is also a root word for logic, biology, a lot of, any of those words ending in ology. So we can see the connection there. So also another thing I wanted to talk about was that so Christians in China. Actually, the first Christians who came to China came to China in the Tang Dynasty. So that would have been over 1,000 years ago. So this is a kind of like a monument here that was built, okay, to commemorate 150 years of Christianity in China. So that would have been okay around that time, and it was rediscovered. So actually after the Tang Dynasty, there's more turmoil in China. That's part of Chinese history, coming together and then coming apart and then coming back together again. Okay, there's a famous line from the Book of the Three Kingdoms that talks about that. Okay, so it was rediscovered. So it was rediscovered in 1623. So it was buried under I'm not too sure, but they excavated it, and also in the city of Xi'an, which is where the terracotta soldiers are. So these Christian missionaries were from the Church of the East. They were not Europeans, so they were known as the Nestorians. Okay, and they didn't speak. They spoke like a Syriac language, okay, like a Middle Eastern language. It's quite incredible, okay. And so, what does this monument say? So, incredibly enough, it actually has an edict from the emperor of that time, Tang Taizong, which is he's a very famous emperor, and it says, without saints and sages, Tao cannot flourish in the world. Without Tao, saints and sages cannot become such. But with saints and sages and Tao united as the two parts in harmony, the world becomes civilized and enlightened. Okay, so here are more pictures of Nestorian crosses. Okay, so if we look at these pictures, what do we see? We can see there's a cross, but we can also see, hey, what's this? This is Buddhist iconography, and we can see that okay, so the blending of the of the different beliefs here, and that's because just as we were as I was alluding to before, so the Tao is the root. Actually, all of these so-called religions are trying to grasp the same thing and bring people to the enlightenment of the same thing, the Tao. Okay, and so receiving Tao rediscovers our true nature and lights up the light of our life. Learning Tao helps us walk on the right way and never go astray. Cultivating Tao helps us be grateful and peaceful to deal with hardships. And sharing Tao will make heaven on earth. So thank you very much. I'm very grateful for all of you for coming to listen to this sharing. Thank you very much. If I made mistakes, I ask for forgiveness. Okay, thank you. Okay, now I open up the floor. So if anybody would like to share their thoughts, okay, I'd definitely like to hear. I know there's a lot of people here who have very wise people here. So.
Yeah, so does anybody want to share, and we can turn the camera and microphone?
Tony, you have any questions? Everyone to share.
I pretty much understood.
Does anyone have any questions? Or
I want to share anything. I mean, share something on the. Otherwise, go ahead.
I'm going to stick my 2 cents worth in. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well done. And I was interested in the religious artifacts that were found in Xi'an and rediscovered in Xi'an. It is interesting that it looks like almost Coptic or Middle Eastern, like the Greek Orthodox or Greek Catholic Church. That's what it looks like. And remembering that not only was the Christianity spread from Judea during the Roman era, but it was also went to the Roman era to the west, but it also went east. But nobody said a whole lot about that. And that's where I suspect those particular artifacts came from, because it was in fact pushed, or not pushed, but it was spread through the complete Middle East, through what's Persia, ancient Persia, through to India, and then into China. So yeah, that was, and the date was interesting, 751, and it said that was 150 years. So that makes around 600. So that's that is a very, very ancient group of artifacts. So I was impressed with that as a historical significance. Now, as far as what you said about the Tao, remembering that my background was Catholic. I in fact, when I was a kid, I went to the Carmelite mission or seminary to learn to become a Catholic priest. So, and I was following that, and I had some problems, but the thing is that I've had the training and the influence of Catholicism from the first grade all the way up through 12th grade. So, and I had the nuns and the teacher and the priest teach me. So I'm fairly well versed on a lot of the what you call religious, which is basically a training or a group philosophy, if you would, tradition, if you would, of that following that group. And so, so that's why it's an interesting fact that you see two different groupings. You see over here, the ancient, how shall I say, the old traditions of China and Taoism and other traditions. And then on this side, you have the modern, somewhat modernistic Christianity and all the other things. But the thing is, if you look at the philosophies, they're more like this rather than this. You see what I'm saying? They're not fighting each other. If you look at the philosophies, they're joining hands together to spread this concept, this idea of oneness and of unity throughout all philosophies. So religion in itself is just a word, and that's all I consider it to be, a word. It's a philosophy, it's the following, it's the understanding, it's the acceptance of that tradition, whether it be Taoism, whether it be Equine Tao, whether it be Catholic, Jewish, agnostic, even people who don't believe in any of those things. It's still a philosophy they accept. And that's what's funny. Some people say, well, I'm an atheist. Oh, I don't believe in anything. But you do, because you're an atheist. You're believing in something. You're believing that you don't believe in something. So that's what's ridiculous about it. So about their philosophy. So, okay, I'm going to let someone else talk now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what did you want to say?
I just said, yeah, that's actually from, I don't think it's Coptic either. I think that it's from the Church of the East. I think if anyone's interested, you can look up more on that. Actually, an interesting point is that many of the Mongols, the Genghis Khan Mongols, were Christian as well. They followed this form of Christianity. It's quite shocking to think to know that. But anyway, so would anybody else like to share?
Here we saw someone to write. This one here.
Oh, can you recommend a book, preferably find? Okay. Lecturer Krause, do you have any book you'd recommend to anyone? Lecturer Krause has actually authored many books. I recommend his books. Someone asked me, are your books online or not?
No.
How many books?
The only thing that's online is in the YouTube when I spoke at the temple at the Confucius Institute temple in Taichung. And it was called My Experience in Tao. And I went on for 2.5 hours with that one. So sometimes people say, yeah, it's too long. Yeah, I agree, it's too long, but I didn't know it at the time. But I do get carried away sometimes, as you know, I do get carried away. So do I have any books online? No, I don't. My transmitting master, Reverend Peng, Peter, he's saying, he's encouraging me, hey, why don't you write a book? Why don't you write a book? Go ahead, use what you used last week and write a book. He says, okay, Peter, it's easy for you to say, but I got to do the writing. But maybe I'll do something. Maybe we'll see.
Thank you.
But recommending books, the Tao Te Ching by Derek Min.
Yeah.
I find that to be a very, very good translation. I like that book. I like his ideas about it, and so I kind of encourage.
Bar some place.
Guys, it's the Tao Te Ching annotations by translation and annotations by Derek Lin. So
I second that. I think that's the premier translation, the best one. Definitely.
Yeah, in fact, I got 2 of his books, 2 of the same book. No, I bought 2 of them.
Okay, let me ask. So, what about anyone from? Let's start maybe with Thailand. Anybody from Thailand? With Tan, I see Tan there. That's why I wanted to ask. Good morning, Tan.
Good morning.
Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Derek. Actually, when we talk about oneness, actually, I thought it's a level of cultivations. Initially, when we talk about oneness, we talk about the religious in terms of actually all religious teach people to be a good one. Okay, but there are some things in I'm not sure whether we call it in a higher level or not, but in the next step, I would say in the next step, I just feel like, people would always expect to meet a very nice, a very kind person. But instead of showing that with the emotion within themselves, sometimes they cannot stand for own emotions or the emotions of the person they talk to. So, but inside the heart, we always expect a very nice, very kind person to talk to. So I thought oneness is something of controlling our hearts in a certain level as well. So this I'm talking in a cultivation way. I love this way, So if we there was something I learned from Thailand. Okay, the world we are here is the world that we always have, good and bad, happy and sadness. Okay, if we take out the bad things out, so we're gonna leave. The only one that is going to be very positive thing. So I thought if we can do that positively, supportively, kindness, that is the oneness within us, apart from the religious, apart from what you have mentioned. Is that right?
Of course, that's right. Thank you. Of course, I learned that. That's from you. Thank you. That's definitely from the perspective of cultivation as well. I think it's kind of something we have to aspire to as well. Oneness, I think. it's easier said than done, I think, but it's very crucial, I think. Okay. What about okay,
New York.
New York or the East Coast? Anyone from the East Coast?
John,
No.
or would you like to share anything or say hi?
Hi.
Okay.
Everyone's shy. Nobody wants to say anything.
Exactly. Everyone from New York, they were so shy. They are so shy.
I can't believe that everyone is so tongue-tied and so completely without any comments. I find that hard to believe. Come on, people, open up. Let's hear something. Okay, just like there's a part of the Tao Te Ching that I find that I used to use in my classrooms always, and I believe it's from chapter 65. I believe. Don't quote me on that. But the one phrase in there is this: a journey of 10,000 miles begins with the first step. Now, that is so profound that it's just, think about that. Just think about that one simple saying that a journey of 10,000 miles begins with the first step. You take that first step, you're one step closer to the destination. You're one step closer to what you need to find. You're one step closer to the ideals that you live for. And that to me is extremely profound. And when I was in class, when I would teach class, that's the first thing I would put up there on the board. And I would just put up there, a journey of 10,000 miles begins with the first step. You students, you take the first step in this class. You're going to be that much ahead at the end of the class. Remember that. And so that's why I find the Tao Te Ching to be so instructional. If you just read it and find out what's in it. And it's really an amazing book. Like you said, 81 chapters, 5,000 Chinese characters. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing. You can imagine some books that are written by supposed philosophers of today, they are 10,000 pages and they still haven't explained exactly what 81 chapters in the Tao Te Ching has said. And really, really profound. And I encourage everyone to read that and to have an understanding of what it means. And the funny thing about it is, if you read the first chapter, the first paragraph, that explains everything else for the other 80 chapters. That kind of explains it, because it tells you that the Tao is something that is not, that we cannot talk about because it's way beyond our poor communication skills, our skill levels. However, we as people, as humans, should dwell on what we can understand. And that's the wisdom that we have. That's what we have. Knowledge is nothing but the facts and figures, data, numbers, and stuff like that. But the wisdom is taking that information and applying it to your goodness, to applying it so that you know what is right and what is wrong. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
I have spoken.
Okay. Thank you again. How about, okay, so we have some people from Malaysia. I know the people from Malaysia are very talkative. So does anyone from Malaysia want to share? Or okay, or maybe
Or Jonah from Thailand.
Is it Johan from Thailand?
Yes, sir, that's Johan. I'm
Yeah.
South African. I've been living in Thailand for about 6.5 years now. So come from a Protestant background, raised in Dutch Reformed Church, and my family are Christian, but I never followed their faith. But the similarities have always been there. It's very interesting to see. My brother and I, he's a staunch Christian. We often talk about this, about the similarities that exist between the two, and it's fascinating. And also, my best friend is Chinese, so we always talk about their philosophy and way of looking at things as well, which is always fascinating. And also the similarities that exist there. So yeah, it's always interesting. And I'm an online teacher as well, so I meet people from all over the world. And I don't know why, but religion is something that always crops up when you speak to foreign people. They always want to know what are your beliefs or how you see things. And it's just fascinating to see the similarities that come up. Despite the fact that we come from different culture, we have different beliefs, but the fundamentals are the same of what people want. So that's what I always find extremely fascinating. The fact that it's completely different way of doing things, but the what we want and how we get there is the same.
Thank you. I feel that as well. I think we have similar, even though I'm in Taiwan and you're in Thailand, I think we have similar experiences. And so I also feel that as well, that people, the more you look into it, the more you see that there's this oneness within humanity. And it's just sometimes the superficial aspects of things kind of block us from seeing that, but for sure it's definitely from my experience, that's the exact same way I feel. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
So does anyone from New York still want to share?
Thank you for asking. And they are so shy.
Okay, no problem.
John, you want to say something? You pay much attention on this on today's lecture.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So here is people share about the doctrine of meaning.
Doctrine of the meaning. In the chat box, you can see there's this is a very famous Confucian book. So the 4 books of Confucius, the one book that is the one book is the first. So the one book everyone knows is the Analects of Confucius, which is just like this, the sayings of Confucius. And the other book that's very popular is called The Great Learning. And then the other book is mentioned. In this book, the doctrine of the meaning is kind of more, it broaches more of like the metaphysical side of Confucianism. So it talks about we can see, sorry, the first line is actually the famous line. So it says, that which is ordained by heaven is called our nature. To lead by our nature is called the Tao. To cultivate the Tao is called the teaching. So one may not deviate from the Tao, but for so much as an instant, that much from which one may deviate is not the Tao. So we can see this is Confucian literature, but actually it is its core concept is the Tao as well. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, because a lot of times the name Taoism makes people think that, oh, only Taoism talks about Tao, but actually all of the Chinese philosophy talks about Tao. Not just even the Art of War by Sun Tzu talks about the Tao in some parts, and so it's much more than that. And when these religious scriptures from other cultures get translated into to Chinese, they also talk about the Tao as well. So that's just one of the points I wanted to get at from this lecture. Okay, we also have a friend from Taiwan, lecturer Bruce Wang. Bruce, are you there? Okay. Hello, Bruce. Oh, he doesn't have his microphone doesn't have a microphone. Okay, so I think. Oh, and okay, from India, we have a friend from I know India is very early. It must be very. It's got to be what 6:30, 7:30 there. So, Anup, do you want to share anything? Hello, hi there.
Hello.
Hello. Morning, sir.
Good morning. Oh, it's
Morning,
very
sir.
nice there.
Sir, can you explain the Tao cosmology?
Sorry, one more time. Come again.
Sir, can you explain the cosmology of Tao?
Oh no. Did you say did you say the cosmology of Tao? So
Yes, sir.
I think that's a question that I might not be able to explain. Bill, do you have an answer to that question? The cosmology of Tao.
Well, you need to define what is cosmology.
Yeah.
And if we plan to understand what Tao is or some concept of it, cosmology would be all encompassing of all the universe. That's the word cosmos, cosmology, unless you use cosmology in women's makeup or stuff like that. I don't think that's anything. But cosmology, again, is the concept of the universe, everything contained within the universe, and other things too. To expand on one point of that, the universe can have more than one. Who is it? Kaku said that he's come up with a thought or a theory that what's called a multiverse, many infinite number of universes, and they all kind of slip into each other. And so that's how he explains UFOs, the translation or the transmigration of one civilization or one universe into the other. So, but cosmology of oneness means to me that the Tao is completely and forever related throughout the universe. So at the farthest ends of the universe, Tao still exists. Here in our land, here in our world, Tao still exists. And in the opposite direction, Tao still exists. It's just like gravity, just like an old Star Trek thing, saying, in any world, if I have positive gravity, I drop something, it will fall. There's no question about that. It will fall. That's the natural law. And you can apply that because why? Simply because the Tao is there to do that. So, and that to me is the cosmology of the oneness, or the cosmology of Tao throughout the universe. Did that explain it well enough?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's also another question here. So if anyone has any help to, they can any answer that can help out. So apart from what was mentioned by the books, this is from Tan. Does anyone learn the oneness based? Has anyone learned? What about oneness and based on cultivating the three treasures to understand more on what? So can we, by cultivating the three treasures, learn more about oneness within? I think I got confused by the question. Is it so? Do you want to ask the question again?
The question is, when we talk about the oneness, it's something we actually have never experienced it, right?
Yep.
We have never experienced it because I saw this word in the, what is that? The 10 at Morin, or what is what? The
admonishments, yeah.
Yeah. So when I learned this word, when I saw this word, I just said, what is that? so I'm just, and then one day, based on from the cultivation by doing a 3 treasures, because my belief, my personal belief, the 3 treasures has a very powerful, very powerful, more than people ever thought. And then one day, I just feel like the oneness sometimes is coming, I don't know, but I got the information coming from somewhere, from the book, or from someone told me that the oneness is mean that it's greater than unity, but it just bring back ourselves in the goodness. That means our heart will never check into any bad side at all. So once we can cultivate ourselves until we will never go into the bad sides anymore. That is the oneness, as far as I understand at the moment. So oneness is the most powerful, bring our spirit back to the heavens when times arrive. And I thought when you said about oneness topic, I just thought, oh, this is quite a great topic. And then when we talk on the oneness based on the book, on the Bible, on the philosophy, it's what was mentioned in there, but perceivable is something very important for us. So by mentioning this, I would like to convince everybody's here in the class to make sure that you keep cultivate the 3 treasures every day, because I do that every day. I do that every time before bed. not in terms of the meditations, but wherever style. And then I just take some time during the day. And then when you do it for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you find something. You will find something. This is something great that I found it. I just wonder whether has anyone experienced it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, practice the 3 treasures in the daily life is very important. And even when we are working or do anything, we can keep reading the mantra in the mind. Yeah, for every second, and then focus on the parts, the main gate.
Yeah, so the main gate is something will tell you back. It is the place where the wisdom is. But if we cannot reach in the, I would not say the oneness at the moment, in the positive attitude, attitude, the wisdom will never come back. So positive attitude is something like the first step. From my experience, I would say, from my experience, the first step of cultivation. And this is something very easy for us in doing that in a daily life.
Yeah. Yeah, also another thing I would like to share, because in Taichung we have a science museum, and they have one brain machine for testing your brain wave. And then I heard the lecturers talking about if we went there to use 3 treasures to testing your brain wave will be, when we doing the 3 treasures, and the brain wave will be very calm right away. And then even I went with my one friend. He is a cultivator, like a monk. And then we invite him to there. And then but we use 3 treasures will as faster to calm down your brain wave than the other cultivators. Yeah. So that's a very main point. And to help us to be relaxed, and then help our mind set up our mind. And also just one day, 2 days ago, when I playing the Chinese chess with friends online, and then I lost 2 or 3 times because I wasn't focused. But after I used 3 treasures to focus on 3 treasures, and after I play the chess with them, and then they say, I think you improve a little bit, and does anyone help you play with this chess? So I feel wow, that's very incredible. Yeah, so that's just my experience, so shared with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually the 3 treasures is the first treasure is the 1 point, right? So it should, to bring us back to the China, there's another word in China, the W-U, which is like the origin, the wu, and then so returning back to that oneness is one, that state of wu, the oneness of wu is what we try to accomplish through the meditation, through the 3 treasures. I think that's one of the points of that. Yeah. So I'm interested to hear Lecturer Krauss what you. Yeah.
No, you're doing fine. I'm going to stay out.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see. I think it's almost time. So we have this. So I'll just ask anyone else. Okay. So I know. Okay. So Claire, you want to choose someone? Okay, Claire wants to choose. Okay, go ahead. Or how about we choose? Is Ryan there? Lecturer Ryan from Malaysia? Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Okay. I think it. Okay. So and nobody else. Okay. What about Joey from Thailand?
Hi everyone, this is Joe speaking.
Hello.
Hi, I'm actually on the PP Islands at the moment in south of Thailand in Andaman Sea.
Wow.
On vacations, but I still wake up in the morning early to listen to this because
Thank you very much.
I'm part of the team, so I'm really appreciate the lecturers this morning that share this topic. Okay, my experience personally, I really think Tao is a great thing to have, to do, to practice, to cultivate. You know, whenever you feel like failing in life, Tao's really give me a big encourage to move on with everything. You know, and I positively think of the world differently now, very positive, you know. Little things that bother my mind quite often from work, depressions and so on. But since ever I have received Tao, it make me feel so positive. I can step over, move on with little thing, you know. I never have to worry anymore because I see the world differently because of Tao, the oneness that we're talking about today. So, and yeah, it doesn't matter what religion we come from, what culture we come from, but we all seek for the peaceful mind, which is Tao. For me, this is the final answer that will bring me back to Nirvana, where we came from. 3 treasure I keep cultivate every day, every morning, every day, every minute that I stay alive. So, and I'm personally, I have experience with the 3 treasures. Sometimes I couldn't find my things, my way out somewhere. I have problem when I focus on 3 treasure and I pray to the Qigong master, and his things seem to be run smoothly. And I'm very impressed with this. You know, might sound weird, but for me, it really happened quite often. And then that's why I'm really I love Tao. I really do. Thank you for letting me sharing some story. Have a nice day, everyone.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That's
Have a nice
amazing.
day.
Thank you for
Have
joining.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you so much. I will listen until the end, okay?
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
sure. Thank you.
Joey, you should not say about where you are because you make some people jealous.
Yeah, I would like to ask.
I can even show you the ocean if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Hold on.
Sure,
please.
please.
Okay.
Hello.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, lucky Thailand has a very good island in the south, Andaman Sea. It's like in Malaysia. I'm not so far from Malaysia right now, actually. Yeah. So great. Have a nice day, everyone. I will keep listening. Okay.
All right, thank
Nice
you.
to see you
Thank
all.
you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice forever. Okay.
Oh,
Hi
okay.
guys, I'm back.
Oh, hi,
Hi.
Ryan. Okay. We were waiting for
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Jory, for sharing us, making us all jealous of you. Yeah. Okay. All right. I just want to say, I think this Tao is here to eventually consolidate, all the religions. What do you think? Because there will come a time when everybody will have to receive this Tao one way or another. What do you guys think? You think it is possible? Putting you guys on the spot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we know, this Tao is the root of all religions. So, and despite of all these religions in the world, which are supposed to, bring harmony and peace, and then on the contrary, right, a lot of wars are
Sorry.
fight
Yep. So,
in the name of religion.
sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. But I think I think we got your question. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay, can I?
Yeah.
Okay, can I repeat that again?
No,
Did you get the last?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I was trying to say that today a lot of wars and battles are fought in the name of religions. Did you get the part?
Yep.
Okay. So I think Tao is here to unite everyone. Okay. So that is why I think we are playing a very, very important role. So however you look at it, this is the will of the heaven. Okay, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, this is the will of heaven. So why don't we work with heaven instead of having our own agenda? All right, that's it from me.
Thank you very much,
you.
Ryan, for sharing that. There definitely has been many conflicts in terms of religion. I mean, not just we for us, we think, for Westerners, we think of like the Crusades and stuff like that. But I mean, even within religions, there's conflicts. Like in Northern Ireland, like the Catholics had been fighting the Protestants for 30, 40, 50, well, hundreds of years actually before that. But so this kind of sectarianism is this kind of is been there, and you're right. So maybe through the Tao and these kind of and share and maybe through the Tao, then it's a way to overcome that and to bring people together. So as you can see here today, we have people from all over the world, different countries, different backgrounds. But we can see that we share this belief, and through this belief we find solidarity and find camaraderie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Derek and
Yep.
I got to go.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, it's
no
time to go.
problem.
Yeah, I think it's about time to wrap up.
And
He
for-
told me we're going out to a birthday party. And so, so I'm invited to my birthday party. So I have to go. All right. Thank you so much
All right.
for everything that you
Okay.
had.
Happy birthday, Bill.
It's your birth. Is it your birthday today?
And so,
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
It's your
Happy
birthday today.
happy
birthday.
birthday! Oh,
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy
know that.
birthday to
it
you.
Okay, everybody.
was my mother and my father who did it. I was just happened to be the result.
How young are you, Bill?
Okay.
How young are you?
Goodbye, everyone. Have a
It's
good day.
okay.
Make those Tao
Happy
always-
birthday.
Happy birthday.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. So we have a friend from India. Raise the hand.
Okay, one more question from Anup from India. Okay.
Yes, sir. With me, my friend, Mr. Pradeep. So he want to ask you, is it Tao means the soul?
So does Tao mean the soul?
Soul, yes.
Tao doesn't just mean the soul. I think Tao is
Content.
Tao contains the soul. It's part of the soul. Our soul comes from the Tao. So it's part of the Tao. I don't think the Tao is. So our Tao is the. I was going to say the Tao can be the nature, like the nature, as in like the trees and the forest and the physical that nature. But Tao can also be our nature, the nature within us as well. So it's our nature, our soul. So that I think that's that's how I would explain it. Would anybody else want to share on that? No. Okay.
Can I share?
Sure.
I thought souls is part of the Tao. Souls is part of the Tao.
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends on how you make with your soul. If you want to go back to the origins, so you need to make your soul clear and be in a very good shape. I mean, very good soul. You need to take away all the bad things from your soul, so your soul will be clear. Will be clear enough to go back to the origin. So when we can go back to the origins, we will be safe.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay.
Sir.
Yep.
Again, to ask you, because I have seen our physics. Is there any book regarding the biology or chemistry which follow the Tao?
Oh, I don't think that's a hard question. You mean any book on that? I'm sure there's some books written on that, but I think it's more important to just to cultivate the Tao within yourself, to find the Tao within yourself. So I mean, Tao can be used to. Tao is everywhere. It's in the chemistry. It's in science. But also, if we find the Tao within ourselves, that's also, I think, one of the important things.
Yeah. So here a friend share about.
So our friend Tao Tao Ji Tao Ji says Tao is the highest energy, the source of everything, and I definitely agree.
And also
Tao is the eternal truth. Self is our only soul. Yeah. So that answers the question. Soul in Wu Ji in Tao. So yeah, that's for sure the micro universe in our body, our original source. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's about time to wrap up. Okay, does anyone want to say anything else?
No, Thailand very well just now. Yeah.
So sorry, one more time, Ryan.
Oh, I said the 10 of Thailand.
Oh yeah.
It was very well said.
Yeah,
Tao
I
is
think so too.
all encompassing. And you look, I want to say 10, you look very, very healthy.
Yes.
Yeah. 10 has got some miraculous stories to relate. I think he's going to reserve it for some other time. 10, you have a lot of stories, don't you?
Yeah.
Which one? So many stories happened to my life.
I know. He has tons of it.
Okay.
Just
One of that. If you look at me, you will see, if I told you that I'm in a very serious diabetics level,
Yes.
would you believe it? But I do.
No.
I do have a very serious diabetic. But now, with cultivation. So with cultivation and faith you just take away all the bad things in the brains. Brains is very important.
Yes.
So by using the 3 treasures every day, and then one day, accidentally, you will find it as an accidentally, you will find some people come and help you out of that problem. So this is what I found it is. And then recently I found a doctor who can treat my diabetic very well. So whatever we have suffered from, my belief is coming from the sin or the bad thing that we have done in the past. So by doing the cultivation with the full faith, but you will find that somebody above us will help us out of that problem. As far as we have a vow to do something great for life, a vow to do something great for other people, you will be supported, to that your life will get smoother. Okay, so I saw it. This happened to my life. So vow, somebody just said that, oh my God, I hate vow. Before cultivation, when people say about vow, I'm really scaring of the vow. But after time to time, I found that whatever you vow for it, this is why we need to have a vow for our life. We need to have a vow to do something for other people, to help people in this world. And God give us very simple thing, just bring other people to understand Tao. And when they understand Tao and they can receive Tao, oh, your life will be changed. This is a short test, I would say. Otherwise, it's going to be a wrong story.
Great
you.
sharing, Tan. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, as Ryan says, you must have many stories. So maybe in the future you can share with us some of these miracles. Okay, and anybody else? Okay.
Sir.
Hello, Anup again. Hi again.
Sir, Tao means oneness, and it is spread in our human life. But culture is different from man to man.
So I didn't
Why
quite.
our culture is different from one man to man.
Okay. Hello. I so what you said was yeah, okay. Well, people's so Tao is the same it's the same, but our nature is the same. But of course, we the way our nature is expressed is different in each of us, I think. And because I think I mentioned before, the philosopher Mencius said that the human nature is good and has these sprouts, but if these sprouts aren't cultivated, then they don't grow into the virtues. So cultivation is essential. So that's why there's so much variance in because of people have different experiences in life and different many different experiences and different things happen. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good. So, sir, we welcome to everyone to Assam. When is COVID is over, sir?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So there's Assam is well known for its tea. I think.
No, no, sir, not for tea. It is only also famous for the one on rhino.
Yep.
Oh,
One
I
on
think
rhino.
we made
One
your
on-
friends.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, we made your friends last night because he confused about the time today. And
Oh
your
yeah.
friend call what? The name is K-R.
No, Mr. Piover Kumar.
Oh,
Mr. Piover Kumar. You talked to him yesterday.
yes, yes, yes.
He's a sir. He's a retired teacher.
Oh, I see. That he's a retired teacher.
Oh,
Thank you.
Retired teacher and a good writer.
oh.
And we have already translated the book Easing to Assamese and the
Oh,
Tao Talk into Assamese.
oh, really? So the Tao book has been translated into Assamese, yeah, actually I talked to him yesterday. He said that in Assam you don't speak the main language is in Hindi. It's in Assamese, is it? And
Assamese,
yeah.
no, because our ancestral language is Thai.
Oh, ancestors are all from
It's a Thai language.
Thailand. Oh, I got it now. I see.
We also follow the from the ancestors time. We are following both Taoism, Tao philosophy, and the Hinduism.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Because our rituals of ancestors and our memories all in this. We follow Tao.
I got
because, it. Because all our Northeast indigenous indigenous peoples of Northeast follow Tao. Though some people take Christianity, some take Buddhism, some take Hinduism, but still we follow the Tao in our rituals. These are a book on our Thai language. It is a book of Thai language. It is called.
What's the Thai language? Yep.
Thai. Yes, a Thai language.
Oh.
Can you read Tan and can you read that? It is.
Video.
Lít Pyong Khăm Tẩy. Lít Pyong Khăm Tẩy.
Where is that? I cannot see it.
Oh, I can't see it very well. It's hard to see. That's okay. It's hard to see. Maybe you can take maybe next time it's better to take
you can take a picture and
send it to us. Send a picture. After you take a picture and send it to us, and then we'll send it to Tan.
With my pleasures.
Because our ancestor was from Yunnan province of China. He established our Ahom kingdom. His name is Sao Lung Siu Ka Pa.
Oh.
He established our kingdom in 1826, and it was continued till it was established in 1228, and it was continued till 1826.
Oh, I see. So the kingdom of Assam. I think if you send us, it would be very nice.
Not Assam, sir. Kingdom of Ahom. Ahom kingdom.
Okay. I'll take a look after this class. I'll take a look on Wikipedia. I'll Google and see if I can find that.
Okay, sir. Find it. You can find it.
I can't find it on. Okay, maybe after after because I think we should wrap up the class. So
okay,
I'll talk to you maybe after about that. Okay. All right. So I think we should.
Friend to share.
Okay, just one more sharing for so Dao Ji also says our soul is trapped in the cycle of life and death and the life after life. When our soul gets the pure energy of Tao, the three treasures during the Tao receiving ceremony, we practice our true self to be united with the oneness, Tao, the eternal energy.
Wow, that's very great sharing. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wrong boy, what do you do? Wrong boy. Wrong way, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Okay, so I think we that's it for this class, this sharing. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining. Okay, so when is the next time? I think it's in 3 weeks.
I think in September.
Something in September. So
Yeah,
we'll send you the information. It says September.
Yeah, we will ask.
Okay, we have to clarify when it is. So okay.
Okay, so
Try to avoid 11.
Okay.
about 11. Okay.
Let me see the date.
I think.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, it won't be on the. It'll be. Oh,
Oh.
no, it won't be that. It'll be on the 18th, I guess.
I guess already maybe 18 or 25th. The
Yeah.
last 2 weekends. One of last 2 weekends. Yeah. Okay, so everyone, if you want to get information, you can send your email to us on the chatting board, and we can.
So the chat. If you need any more information, actually, so if you wanted to contact us about that, but actually you can. I think most of the time you contact your seniors is best. But if you want to ask, okay, like if you're to clarify about the time.
Yeah, okay, so thank you very much, everyone, and thank you for participant. Okay, I hope I can see you next time.
Okay, so see you guys.
See you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
See
day.
you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
পৃথিৱীৰ লগত কথা পাতিলো আমি ভাবি পাইছে অকলে পাইছে নি তাক পুছিব নি ইয়াতহে লিডাৰ তাৰ সীমা খুব বেছি মানে নৰ্থ ইষ্টত তাক নুপুছে বুজিব নি টকাকেইটা ফটোটো